Hey guys, it's great to be back again after a while. I think is it 2 weeks or 1 week since the last video?
Not too long, 1.5 hours for me.
Yeah, but it's great to be back. Yeah, so my name is Austin Okinda.
My name is Tina, and we are back with another episode. Today we'll be talking about expectations versus reality.
Relationship
Is it expectations
expectations. Yeah,
versus
what
reality?
is reality in a relationship?
Modern day relationship.
Exactly. We can't say the previous generation's relationship, but that is our parents because
Yeah.
these
I feel like kitambo hakukuwa na courting, and if there was, they really had a short time to know each other. All they knew was
no, it was a
they
one-sided.
fell in love.
It was a one-sided thing.
Yeah, and it was there at the women have to get married. So ukisha figure of age,
A certain age.
yeah, you just
So I kind of feel here. It was a one-sided thing in that if Charlie would identify a lady, then tells the parents that is who I want to marry, then the parents will walk away in ensuring that he gets married to the lady that.
and also the lady had the responsibility of also falling for this person.
It just
Like
felt.
ukishachaguliwa,
Yeah.
that's it. Like
Yeah, you don't.
your destiny isha kuwa sealed. Baby girl, you gotta go and fall in love whether you respect that person or
Or not. Yeah,
you have to stay. And kwanza, this notion of you have to stay hata kama unateseka.
Oh, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the modern
Yeah,
relationship. I kind of feel like people have so many expectations to a point that we let the expectations overpower the reality. Then when we get into the reality, we now start saying, oh, it isn't working. And I kind of feel like most of us, the youths, the young people, we get into relationships, and we get into relationships with a lot of expectations, big expectations. But when you don't get them, we get the reality now. We start saying it's not working on, then that's when you start.
Okay, the thing is,
Yeah.
as young people, we are dreamers, right? Before you get into something, you have to, kind of try to figure out, okay, so I want a relationship. What kind of relationship do I want? I want a person who will always be there for me 24/7. I call, he picks up. I say jump, he asks how high. Like, that's it. It's kind of you visualize what you want. So that's where the expectation is coming.
And I feel like the expectations too, they destroy some of the great things that we wanted to build. The dreams. Because once you start expecting something from someone and they don't deliver whatever you expected, they deliver something different. You'll start saying, "Oh, I need to buy, oh, we are not perfect." I mean,
And I would say, even before we land on relationships, some of the friendships that people have out here, we tend to judge people and say, I can't date Nani because he can't do this and this and this and this. I can't date her because she's this and this. We judge from afar. We haven't given that chance
exactly.
of, getting to know someone at a close range. Then you can give your judgment,
We're just rushing.
Yeah, we rush into judgment, and that's how we miss out on a lot of things. And you're like, oh, when we hear that person is in a relationship, we're like, oh, kumbe ni mtu poa. I'm like, oh my God, so proceed with caution.
I feel like
All
we lose a lot of good things because of expectations. High expectations.
standards.
Yeah. It's not about having expectations, but at times compromise. It's so key because if I wanted to, for example, I'm working, right? I'm dating, and I wanted something from the person who I'm dating. My expectation is that I'll get it as soon as I ask for it. But if they cannot, then I'll look at why isn't that I can't get it right now. Then if I see, okay, this is the reason why it can't be right now, then I'll have to tell myself, okay, let's do this. Let me sacrifice my own expectation or my own interest to get that thing in order for the other person also to get time to understand what I expect, right? I think that way when you look at, okay, let me sacrifice so that we go on the same direction. It's much better than having the expectation. Then when you get into the reality, you now start saying, Timbaya, I don't know, it doesn't fit.
But at the same time, compromising and settling for less are more or less, I can't say they're the same thing, but don't confuse both of them. So it's a critical decision to make, and let's leave it at that because we are
Compromising and
decision.
compromising and settling for lower, two different things. I think settling for less,
Mm.
different things. But I wouldn't say anything else.
But there's a thin line, a very thin line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about the expectation or give us an expectation.
My first expectation that people usually have in relationships is sharing the same opinion. I mean, we get into a relationship, someone expects me to have the same opinion as theirs simply because we are dating, and not that it's once the person wants it to be every day, every time. I mean, we must just agree on the same thing. At times, the reality is once you get into a relationship,
You agree to disagree.
exactly.
Period. Because I feel like, when you're dating someone who just has the same opinion as you, I'm not saying it's bad, but I feel like it's boring.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, you won't have time to reason with that person. You're like, okay, yeah.
Because you know what the person is saying next. When my favorite color is blue and your favorite color is red, there'll be that difference in the relationship. But hey, our favorite color is blue, so whatever we want is blue. I mean, even people know that. Okay, I want to want blue.
Okay, the color is such a plain thing to mention. Let me say, okay, let me bring up something, then we see if we have the same opinion. Do you agree on a small boy, let's say 10 years old, for example, your son, to be wearing your wife's outfit? Okay, for you to have children, you have to be married, right? Would you agree to your son wearing your wife's jewelry, like necklaces, rings,
Never.
bangles?
Never.
You see, then the wife says, for me, it's okay because it's like he's having fun with them.
My reason for saying no is this is how we start building that word. I don't want to say.
Yeah, that's
But
what
that's
perspective.
yeah, nice.
And maybe the other person's perspective is the child is just, playing around with things, that's just okay.
Yeah,
That was our point, yeah. Could you identify sexually? But, we try to avoid this thing called tendency and making it look normal to the child. So it's okay for you to say no. So that is just something that maybe we can have different opinions on.
Yeah, the color thing was I was also trying to bring it in a way that someone who really doesn't have that critical way of thinking and seeing things can understand. So yeah, at times the expectation is that we must have the same opinion about things, but the reality of the matter is not always we have the same opinion about things. For example, when it comes to our political leaders, I may root for someone who is person A, then you for person B. Then does it mean that simply because
Kosane.
because of person B and person A?
Yeah.
Remember, this is just opinion.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. I mean, I like person A because of this and that. You like person B because of this and that. When we go and vote, you vote for your person A, vote for your person B. It's all right. It doesn't mean that now because we have these different opinions about these people, we have to fight. The reality is you won't ever agree on everything in a relationship.
Yeah, so if someone is telling you that in their relationship they agree on 100% of the things,
That's not
that's a lie. And if, wow, that's very heavy. If someone agrees to everything you say 100%, they never ask why or how or what or anything. My friend just proceeded question because I feel like there's someone else. Or like for our feelings to be true, you have to be open about everything.
Yeah, you have to be open. Yeah, it's true.
And reason on both sides is if it's a yes, if it's a no, it's this way. Like there's a lot of reasoning in between things, even the simplest of things.
I think our relationship is like a court case, whereby the prosecutor and the defense have different opinions about the same thing. Yes, we know that this is the real thing, but we have different opinions about it. That's how a relationship works. We have to disagree, and at the end of the day, one of the parties will actually get his or her way into making you understand it. Yeah, you have.
It doesn't mean that watu huwa hawaelewani in a relationship. What we're saying is that 100% of the time you won't agree with everything.
Exactly. That is.
Yeah. Like there will have to be a compromise somewhere.
Yeah.
So my next point is that a relationship is always good times, good vibes. Like forever and ever amen.
I've never.
Honest flowers and roses and candles and gifts, chocolates. You know, I feel like let me just explain it. Let me just put it this way.
Yeah, let me listen.
A relationship, we can't compare a relationship and a marriage, right? People say that a marriage is a decision to love someone every day, right?
Yeah.
For a relationship to be there, you have to love that person. It's not a decision. You have to have feelings for that person for you to make commitments, because commitment is quite a deep topic that can take ages to talk about. And at times, you know, vile life poor, you cannot be happy from Monday to Monday. There has to be that day when things just go south and north, like evil. So when these issues come along, it doesn't mean that hampendani. It doesn't mean that you're not compatible. It only means that you have to reason out of those things. And these issues only happen to make you stronger. So if someone is telling you that in a relationship, I will always love you, I will never quarrel. Oh, what? You have, okay, for you to quarrel or air your opinion out freely, you have to have some kind of respect for a person, because you're trying to make them see a perspective or feel how you feel about something. And if you don't have that energy to make someone feel the way you feel, then it means your priorities are elsewhere, or you don't even care about that person thinks about what you think.
Okay. It's not always that you have to smile all the time. Say relationship.
Yeah.
And if ever you've met someone and they've told you, you know, in our relationship, we've never fought, we've never asked the person, are you sure you're the main person or there's someone else?
Someone else.
Because I believe in any form of relationship, you must have that argument. It doesn't mean that when you argue, you don't love each other. It doesn't mean that when you argue, you don't respect each other. Because that argument will actually tell you who the person you are with is. If we don't argue, you won't know me. Because you'll be like, oh, nani ananipenda too, oh, he does this for me.
Give an example. I brought him some water. Imefika hapa. Then he starts asking me, mbona maji imefika hapa? You know, in as much as it looks petty, I learned that he doesn't like his glassed water. Anataka ifike huko juu ama anataka ikuwe huko chini. Like, you get to learn the preferences of the person. So if you never quarrel, how will you know?
You'll never know. And believe me, these things that we say are petty, or the little things that we see,
Yeah.
these are the things that will make you know, okay, this is the type of person I'm dating. You will have fights on petty things. Like, mbona kiatu yako iko kwa sitting room hivo? Mbona sijui hujafunga curtains? And you're like, no, it's fights. Curtains ya kazi gani? Ati, nimetoka job nimeka vet. The petty things.
Yeah, you get to know, okay, I come from work. She doesn't like seeing my shoes all over the place. I get to the bedroom, I put the shoes. This little thing.
I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, these fights strengthen your relationship, and they test a lot of things. If you do not have these fights, believe me, there's no love apple.
But let me tell you, the secret, I had this from a movie, and I think it's very true. The secret to a long-lasting marriage is different bathrooms. Like, akwe na his bath, her bath. You'll never quarrel about sijui hair imeachwa wapi. You'll never quarrel about...
What is the beauty of a relationship or marriage without using the same bathroom? I need those fights. Let me see you read. Sindio. Okay, how will I know that you take a lot of time in the bathroom if we're not sharing it? How will I know that unatanga nywele pale kwa ile fulani? How will I know such things? How will you know that I usually throw the soap manipopote thing? Ama how will you know that kwa ile Lydia toothpaste inatanga tu hivyo? How will you know? I mean, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's your opinion. But then these fights play a very important role in it. The expectation is it's all peaceful, it's all flowers and smiles. Reality is kuna mangumi kule ndani, kuna
No, let's not put violence there.
now you
So don't put it
see, don't take it that way.
Yeah, at all. Let's just say kuna thought.
Kuna okay. So in short, let's say kuna mvutano.
Yeah.
Ndio kuna kukinzana kimawazo.
Yeah.
That's very correct. No.
If I see next,
Another thing I feel like people expect is, and I'll give it in two forms: communication. Expectation for some people is that we communicate each and every time, whether you're busy, whether you're not busy, we communicate. Number one. Number two, a lot of
is there an expectation or
expectation? I'll explain. Some people expect we talk every time. Expectation number two is that we don't need to talk every time. I mean, so we're dating, so we're worried. Why should we talk? The reality of the matter is, you can never communicate with someone each and every time, every single minute. It will never happen. And once you see that you communicate each and every single minute, then just know you're idle. There's nothing. I mean, you're not doing anything. Because at that time you'll be busy. Just tell your partner, by the way, excuse me for a while, I need to work on something, Hapa. And the person will be like, okay, so when
is it true that people who complain of not getting attention, they're the ones who don't have anything to do in the relationship?
Kind of.
It has a truth in it. But iko na kaukweni.
Yeah. But let me finish explaining communication. The second one I said, we need not to talk every time. In a relationship, you need to talk. You need to communicate. I know I'm contradicting my points, but I'm giving them depending on different people.
You can talk, but not every time.
Yeah, you can talk and not every time, but you can also talk. The communication, I mean, just texting your partner and muulize, how are you doing? How's your day? It's important. Then they just tell you, oh, by the way, I'm in a meeting. Let me text you after 10 minutes.
Okay.
You wait. The reality of the matter is you need not talk every time, but then you have to have conversations. And I experienced something sometimes back. Someone told me that we need not to talk every day. I mean, you know everything about me. I usually believe we can talk every day, but the way we talk about something, and we can repeat things that we've said in the past, but the way we talk about them gives the difference. Today, maybe we will use approach A in talking about finances in our relationship. Tomorrow, we'll use perception Z, but we're still talking about the same thing.
So the perceptions come in, okay, I tend to think in this direction, that you can talk about the same thing in very many different ways.
Yeah.
Because we grow each and every minute, every second. I go up there, come across someone who's going through the same problem or the same issue or undergoing the same thing we were talking about. Then it gives me a different perspective, and I'm like, oh, so this and this happens this way. Then we're like, oh, by the way, yeah, we talked about something a year ago, and we're like, hapana, saying we've grown, we have more sense. Sasa tuifanye hivi na hivi and hivi. It doesn't mean that you won't talk about the same. By the way, let me tell you what feels a relationship for real. It's talking about same things in different perspectives, because it's a sign of
growth, yeah,
and maturity.
I mean, we might talk about communication right now in this video. Then when you ask me about it 2 weeks to come, I'll give you a different opinion about whatever I'm saying right now. It means that within these 2 weeks, I've learned something totally new.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. I've went out and got some information about how to communicate in a relationship. So I kind of feel like the communication in a relationship, people expect that we cannot talk about one thing, or we need not talk every day, or we must talk every day. If we must talk every day, the reality is we can talk every day about the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah, very true.
Another thing is, the reality is we shouldn't talk every time because maybe I'm busy working and you're free.
That understanding of the father is busy doing something.
But then,
Yeah, but it's not an excuse of
Not-
you not giving your partner attention or communicating. I think I said this some time back when we were having a conversation. I said that we should not excuse people's character. We should not blame people's character or the nature of relationships.
that's all.
For example, I'm busy, I'm working, let's say 12 hours a day. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't make time for my partner. No, it means that I don't have that time on my schedule. But yes, I can make time, I can create.
And I feel like, texting that person and telling them, by the way, I'm busy right now, but when I get that time to text, I'll text or call.
Yeah.
And when you get that time, you text and call, and tell them, sorry, I was busy at that time, maybe submitting something or doing something, but now I'm here, we can talk, I'm free. If you have an understanding partner, they will say, okay, at least he or she made that effort. And then a relationship is all about efforts. If you don't make the efforts, you never know. That communication is very vital in any form of relationship.
I think I came across this thing on TikTok where the lady was saying, so we went home, he lit candles. No, we went out, we ate dinner out. Then we came home, he lit candles, we made stories and we slept. And the guy was like, we sikukuwa na stima, so na pia gas ilikuwa imeisha, so tukaenda tukakula nje, kurudi stima kuna, we just lit candles. You see the different perspectives of both of them in the relationship.
They're talking about the same thing,
but different angles. And I was surprised, like the lady saw whatever they were, as romance.
It's romantic.
And the guy was like, well, me nilikuwa broke.
Sure. It's all about communication. Very different perceptions about it.
Yeah. So my next point is girls, we expect a man who will provide everything from A to Z, from hair to nails to clothes to airtime to allowance to what else? Out, dinners, dates, everything, like from A to Z. Like the guy should provide. But the reality in relationships today, I can put them in two ways. We have ladies who also do these things with their guys.
Very true, yeah.
And we also have men who tend to, look in the direction of she's just a girlfriend, she's not my responsibility, she still has parents, so I won't do the clothes bit, the nails bit, the hair bit. That's not me. I'm just here for emotions. The rest, parents. But it's okay to think that way.
It's very much okay.
Yeah.
So the reality, actually, as a guy, let me just speak as a man. The reality is that not all men will provide the way you expect.
Na pia si ati they can afford.
And
Right.
expectation is a man should provide everything, right? If that man isn't there, the reality, what's a reality could hit? Then you find out that the man doesn't have that money to provide all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the relationship ends from there. I mean, at times, if I don't have the money, let's work in building the money. And by the way, it might be different from whatever you're saying, but there's a time I had, or maybe I was in a conversation. They were saying that as a man, you're supposed to provide everything, and when you don't have that cash to provide, then the lady also doesn't want to. Then Madara wants the apple. Then there was this thing. The lady was saying, if the man does not provide, don't be measure. He and I are done. I feel like the expectation is that the man should provide 24 hours, 24/7. The man should provide every day and what you need. The reality is simple. Come and see that job. I can't give it to you the way you want it. How about you support me? By the way, men wanna pay out on our support.
Yeah, that's true.
And let me be honest. Expectations, the ladies, is that a man will provide everything, right? The reality is very simple. If a man truly loves you, he'll provide without you asking. But it's okay. I'm not explaining. I'm not explaining anything.
Okay.
That is
I
how,
feel like your next statement is, but if a man doesn't love you, he would provide. Or
and that is why I said I won't say the next thing because I want people to think the way they want. I'm not saying that
but see,
that person.
case of men who will not even move a finger before you say anything because they're not angels. Make your wants known. Talk. I want this and this and this, and if I have, I will provide. If I don't, we just have to compromise and move.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
We're just speaking about the same thing, different perception. It's opinion. It's my opinion. Can I tell you? The truth is, you're saying the same thing I'm saying. I didn't explain it much because I didn't want people to misquote whatever I said. The only thing I said is, if a man loves you, if a man truly loves you, they'll provide
Without you asking.
without you asking. It doesn't mean
Even when you ask.
even when you ask, they'll just, I'm at a job, okay, she asked this. So next month, I'm at 2 months to come. I know she'll ask for the
Yeah.
same beauties, she'll ask for the same lipstick and the same makeup. I know as a man. So
Why asking men?
it's true. But yeah, if a man truly loves you, that man will do things that you didn't expect.
Okay.
But then, that is the reality. Expectations zinafanya that man anaboeka. Because at times, expectations inaleta comparison kwa relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, unajua, my friends, their husbands take them out. They say, I don't know, wanaendanga Mombasa, in Dubai. My friend, kama pesa yangu ifiki Dubai inafika kibandaski, should we just go to that kibandaski ama namna gani? Yeah. We just go to that kibandaski.
Shafke uliambiwa ni, but then the neighbor has bought a fridge.
So what do you want me to do? I don't have money on it. Ama, just the way we were taught in class 6.
So the
Charcoal, what was it called? Charcoal cooler or was
the chakula. Okay, so I believe hatujafika point ya chakula. I've never seen someone who's made that thing by the way. Just by the way. But he was
what
saying
does easy can make it?
but he was saying
Yeah.
that okay, we were talking about a man who provides everything. At times in the reality of relationships today is that the lady sometimes puts a hand to support.
Yeah.
Sometimes the man anaweza kosa because men are human, they're not demigods. They're just human.
What was there? And we're not some financial assistance to. I mean, we also need support. We also need the help. So if we can't, the reality is, if there's some men, if they don't see that support, they stop providing. And you feel like, oh, honey, Penny, the person loves you, but now he's not getting that support. He's not getting the motivation. Some of us, we believe in that support is our motivation. And the support, get this, the support doesn't mean pesa. I usually say this, the support doesn't mean pesa. The support can be making breakfast. The support can be ironing my clothes. These little things that people don't believe. I like the society says hiyo ni kazi ya mwanamke.
Yeah.
It's not kazi ya mwanamke. It's support. Because when I got married to you, or when we started our relationship, and you came to my place, you iron. I mean, you're telling me, by the way, si lazima tiwe, I can support you by doing this. I can do it for you. Ukifanya vitu zingine. I feel motivated to go out there and work so hard to provide. Yeah. So the expectation ni, we need support. The reality is, see it, we'll just provide the way you think. And some men also provide to get something else. It leads me to
Give us your
something else. I wanted to talk about expectations is that we expect the baby girl to continue vile tuko marafiki, or when we're still dating. We expect the prince treatment, the baby boy treatment to continue as it was when we were still dating or we were still friends. The reality of the thing is, once you start living together, you get to know different things about this person that you've been together with.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Do you support people dating to live together? before making things official, that is.
Dating?
People who are dating to live together
That, I mean, okay,
without making things official.
official in terms of marriage. This generation of us today, I mean,
No, just give your opinion.
my
Not
opinion. No, this
what?
generation,
Yeah.
I think, to some point, if these people love each other
Mm.
and they want to live together, just stay together. Because, okay, there's a reason as to why they haven't officiated things. Maybe it's because they don't have money, or their parents don't agree. But at times,
So what's your timeline? Sorry. What's your timeline for things to be officiated? Do you have a timeline in mind? So do we call that can we stay or
can we still something totally different? I don't want to call it that way. I feel like, okay, let me explain my answer. If you truly love each other and you feel like there's something that might stop you getting to where you want, and maybe if you feel like we don't have that capital to ensure that you get married, the finance to get to get married, and you feel like, let's say, together and work on something, feel like just do it. But then the age also matters a lot. Below, okay, someone who is for a teenager, I feel like bado kono toto flani.
Yeah.
There's some toto flani, and when you start living together, you won't get it. You won't get what you want. But then it depends with how someone was raised. So I feel like, yeah, for me, it's okay. Because kitu ya watu wawili, I can't really know why they've decided that.
You know, the part that gives me jitters is living together, then
Living together.
you become someone's baby mama or a baby daddy, and the person goes and finds greener pastures elsewhere, and you made the commitment to come and live with this person, not to make children, but for the sake of love, right?
Yeah.
Then a child comes along, then he doesn't, okay, I wouldn't say ati amekataa. He agrees to it, but still goes ahead to date someone else, simply because he feels like you're a done deal.
No, that is, I feel like it's totally different. Character plays a vital role when it comes to such things. And I feel like for you to make that decision, it means that, one, you just did this to impress people, to impress the lady or the guy, and you're not in love. If it's for love, if it's for love, I can say, okay, you just go ahead. Because I don't know why you've decided that. And if you think you're Nisao, you go do it.
Yeah, but I feel like I can just advise you, whoever is listening, that, wow, that's a difficult path to cross. And for you to decide that you want to stay with that person without appreciating things, I feel like you should know that person on a deeper level. But who is man? Ata kama useme he cannot do this to me, then he does it. Who is man? I mean, not man ati a man. I'm saying who is a human being.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because it also happened the other way around. You take this girl into your own home, then you go to work, you provide for her everything she needs from A to Z. But then you try and make her life comfortable. Then she goes ahead to find another person. I think it's a different topic. We were talking about what? What were you saying?
My point was expecting to receive the same treatment.
Yeah, maybe girl treatment.
The baby girl treatment or the baby boy treatment as it was before while maybe dating or your friends. At times when you know that person, when now you start knowing that person, when you start living with that person, you know the true character. Maybe when you're still friends, the person was just treating you that way in order to get your attention. Alipot wanataka mdate. Or maybe the person was treating you that way in order for you to get married. Once you get married, there are things that will never be there. Unajua, now responsibilities zinakuja. when you start having children, responsibilities change. I'm not saying that priorities in affairs change. Yeah, you're the wife, but then responsibilities zikianza kuja, majukumu yamekuja. There are things that you don't expect to get right away. If you're used to going to Dubai, Mombasa, all those things. Once you start having children, maybe you start having your family, they'll change. Atakwambia, oh, this time we can't go because of the school fees maybe comes in, or maybe that. So don't expect that some of these treatments will continue. Maybe she'll just postpone for a while. They'll come back later when now the responsibilities have reduced. But once you start having these responsibilities, some of the expectations that you had won't be there. And I'm not saying it's bad. Just don't expect that every day you'll receive the same treatment. When your friends, maybe the guy used to take you out, the guy used to, unampigia, sends you credit, all that. And once you start dating, anakwambia, by the way, I'll just call, no need for you to need credit. No need for you to go and buy things for yourself. Then, vitu vikianza kuchange now, don't expect that ati mapenzi yameisha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At times,
learn the person.
yeah. And but still, it doesn't make an excuse for someone to change after you've agreed to be committed in the relationship. Now he doesn't do things. Because for me, it's the consistency. I'll talk about myself, that's consistency. And it doesn't mean that simply because now we're dating, there are things the person does for your attention, but you try to maintain a part of it. Not that kila saa I won't ever take you on a date, like, because we are now dating.
Just know that the things that
will not
stay the same ones.
Yeah.
Maybe you're dating or you're married. Things will change because maybe now priorities have shifted, or responsibilities are now more than what you had before.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect that itakuwa same every time. Yeah.
Okay, and get you. An expectation that people have in today's relationship is to have a submissive girlfriend, a girlfriend who says yes to possibly everything you can ever propose. But I feel like for you to be known very well, you need to be very genuine about everything. For example, would you agree to us going to eat street food? And the girl is like, no, my health, I can go eat in the Kibandaski. We're not saying she's proud. She gave reasons, right? But it doesn't mean that sasa ukateki, like, no, but I'm saying a submissive girlfriend is something so difficult to find. A girl who just says yes to everything.
Because this generation, submissive girlfriend, submissive.
Anyways, right?
Yeah, it's honestly,
if she's submissive, you need to dig deeper.
I think
you need to find the true her.
The reality is not about submission. The reality is the respect.
Oh, yeah.
The respect.
Respect.
If I respect you, if I love you for real, I won't force you to do things that I want as a guy. I won't force. I'll just ask for you. And by the way, I have this plan. What do you think about it? Not that I just come and tell you, unajua niaje tunahama. Wewe safata vile nimesema, ama wageni wangu wanakuja, wewe pike chakula. Ama whenever I want to be satisfied, I just call you. It requires respect. It requires communication. It also requires love.
Well, if relationships are tough, now that you're talking about it, I think that's your next point.
TDH.
Oh, the standard.
What was standards? Expectations are most of the ladies is tall, dark, and handsome. The reality is, utapata kamtu kafupi, kamtu mweupe, then you'll be like, okay, these standards that TDH has made a lot of ladies miss a lot of things in terms of love.
It has also made women or ladies make wrong perceptions about people. Like for me, like no one can convince me otherwise. If I find a person who is tall, dark, handsome, and arrogant, for me that person is a no-go zone because I feel like that person ashajua I'm appealing to ladies and I can do whatever I want. You get. So I feel like once we've realized that this is the appearance that is appealing to people, we tend to develop this kind of arrogance that we feel like is so excusable because we are lovable naturally. We are a material to be loved.
And before I forget, I'm not only telling ladies, men, we expect.
Okay,
I'm still but I don't know full man, but we expect a lady with curves, nice curves, a lady who applies maybe wears makeup. It's wearing makeup, right? What else do you expect? The ass must be big. That is what they expect. I'm just saying it the way it's supposed to be saying.
why don't you say a big bunda?
This tension is really tenda ma benda whatever, but bunda. One expect what of when I'm a bunda. But then I feel like all this new pussy to new jinga. Why should you have these standards yet wewe ni mfupi nono round ama labda wewe ni wera hiyo TDH yenye unasema ama hata hiyo unataka mtu ana you're not even close
Let
to
me
that.
tell you things about standards. For you to make standards for people to meet, you have to meet the standards.
Exactly.
And if you don't meet the standards, don't even go there.
That's the reality.
But I'm not saying that you settle for less. What's the reality?
Don't settle for less. The reality of all this is that the way you said it, I've seen friends. Someone who was dating a lady who had big bunda, calves and all that. Then the lady started telling the person, "Unajua, a lot of guys wananiangalia, so I can't say no to them." My friend, they're dating. And I was like, bro, still talking to, what is this lady telling you? And the lady's like, "Unajua, if you want to meet me now, unanipigia simu." It's like you're booking an appointment. Simply because the lady
has an appealing appearance.
Exactly.
I want you to say the way you used.
I'm blessed. I mean, you're blessed. So I'm the guy and I feel like in the biz, you know, I'm tall, I'm dark, and they, bro, Charlie will be like, oh, so the dem one is an independent, JBS, nini. So goes around, that is the reality. Is expectation and standards.
I also feel like celebrities are always making an excuse of being celebrities, saying that you know, I'm a celebrity, so ladies will always be around me, men will always be around me. I mean, let's not make this as an excuse not to commit to someone genuinely or to treat someone as they deserve, perfectly as they deserve. You know, because I feel like these appearances and these notions are making us feel like, you know, I'm someone so important. That's what are you?
Not, man. Who told you you're important? We are also important. You're special.
No, the thing is, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, these standards that we set, at the end of the day, they hurt us.
Yeah.
Because what about it is, you know, I chose this guy because he was tall, dark, and handsome. I chose this lady because akona nice cars, she's blessed. Then, sasa sahi, akona watu wengine. It's what you wanted.
And if you look at these people who are loyal in relationships, they're the opposite of tall, dark, and handsome. I'm not saying that the tall, dark, and handsome do not are placed in commitment. It's just that most of the time, the tall, dark, and handsome, they really have a hard time committing to all
commitment.
Yeah. So I think I'm done, but there are lots.
Let me add something before I forget. There's one thing we talked about attention. A lot of people expect their attention to be 100%, but the reality of the matter is it's not always 100%. For example, you don't expect a doctor, maybe a doctor and a lawyer dating or married, then you expect them to have 100% attention every time. Simply because their timeline, their working timeline is different. Maybe the doctor is a surgeon. Akona surgery maybe at some particular time. It's a 12-hour surgery. then the lawyer ni partner wake, yeah, maybe jioni hana kazi. You don't expect them to communicate kila saa ama kila saa ni attention because you're called ati unajua sijui I'm feeling this way. You don't get that always. And celebrities pia, now they misuse this the way you said it.
I'm going on tours.
I mean, bro, it doesn't mean
that
now because you're a celebrity, you don't give them attention. But when you start, train their stubbornness. We don't care about if it's your person. Try as much as possible to give them that attention that they need. But then it doesn't mean that 100% of the time you're together, maybe not together in that you're together in the same place, distance maybe, that you have to give them that attention. At times you're busy. At times maybe you have
things to do.
Yeah. Just listen to them. Okay, now, by the way, I can't promise you that nitakusikiza sahi vizuri because I'm working on something. Let me finish it kwanza, then now I concentrate 100%. You know, when you give someone that reason, I feel like, okay, the person, inyana nijani. So it's not always 100% attention. At times it's less. And if someone gives you a reason why it is less, understand them.
Yeah. So I think that was it for today, but I feel like expectations mob, physical mob, like expectations. For example, that if I live in Nairobi, I have money. That's the notion that what Kijiji have. Or I know it's outside of relation, but we're talking about expectations.
But so it's also whereby the lady the long distance thing. You know Nairobi and a person.
Okay. I mean, some people think that long distance doesn't work.
It works. Expectation is long distance doesn't work. Reality is it works for some people.
Yeah.
Depends with how you define your relationship.
And I feel like long distance just gives the perfect butterflies, but I don't know. I don't know about you.
Fine.
So that was it for today. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.
Before we close, we wrap up things. I just wanted to say, don't over-expect. At times, compromise, sacrifice.
But it doesn't mean that you settle for less.
Never
but
settle for less.
The beauty about compromising and understanding is that you get a reason to be in that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, show us love by commenting, subscribing, sharing, by the way, liking. So our social media handles, Instagram is @Austina. TikTok is Austina _254. And God bless you.